Okay, update time. Um, it's been longer than 2 or 3 weeks that I promised I would get back to you on the book, um, John Whitaker's book. Let's see. I've gotten through most of it. I just haven't finished it. Um, the part that I like best so far is his explanation on the soft hammer percussion. I think that section is pretty good. So I'm in that section. I'll be finishing that pretty soon here in the next few days, and then continue on with the rest of the book. I have been napping in the meantime. I've been working on a point that I normally don't do because I don't like it that much, because it was always giving me trouble in the past. It's still difficult for me to get my head wrapped around it, but it's the Martindale and the bandy points, and my greatest difficulty has always been when I'm doing these notches, I get the stem too narrow, so I don't start these notches out far enough to where when they start going in, the neck is wide enough for a real one. Okay, this is still kind of narrow for a real Martindale, but it's getting better. I've also been working on Marshall points, anything with deep notches, and I'm going to be getting into Bell and Andice points too. But I'm starting with these. These are more like bandy size points. Okay, so and I also hafted one up. This could be a bandy or a Martindale. They are related, and they exist in the same time period, just different locations. um, so basically, what got me back into making these videos is I received a question on YouTube that I need to address. So I need to get clamp down and actually start addressing some of these issues, and then getting into these videos again. Following this one, there will be a couple of videos on Montel points. But for now, let me read this question I got on YouTube. It's from Bob E. Jack, please do a video on different rocks and its grade for napping. On different rock and its grade for napping. Show charts and best tools for use for each grade hardness that are best. Locations where rocks come from. Okay, I've kind of got the locations where rocks come from in another video, and I told you that I would never reveal someone's source for rocks. Okay, the general vicinity, I can tell you basically what rocks are there, but if you go looking for rocks on that basic information, you're not going to find them. And if you do, it's very lucky if you do. There is a website that has a pretty good rock source database. Let me see if I can figure out where this website is. The name escapes me off the top of my head, but it has just recently included a database for rocks. Sorry about that. Just looking for it. Now the other part of the question, different kinds of rocks and the grade for napping. Now when I first started doing videos, and when I first started getting into flint napping seriously, that was one of my major questions too. But as time went on, the actual grade of the stone has become less and less important, and what's become more important is basic techniques. Okay, it's hard to explain, but if you got the basic technique of thinning down, you can adjust your thinning technique for any type of stone. Some stone requires a lot of force to get it thinned down, some of it doesn't. So and some tools compensate for that force. If you use a hard tool and the stone needs a lot of force to nap, you don't have to apply as much force if you have a really hard tool. Okay. Now you can also nap hard materials with a soft tool using a lot of force. So the chart, if I make a chart on the different grades of rock and the tools that go with them, each grade of rock is going to have the same type of tools, just used in different ways. You know what I'm saying? Like if I list a really hard rock and the tools best for it, well, it's going to have soft and hard tools. Use the hard tools with less force than you use the soft, and that sort of thing. Or the other way around. Use the hard tool with a lighter amount of force than you do with a soft tool. Now, I could make a chart like that, and to answer that question, I'm probably going to have to do that. So, but that'll come later. Okay. Now, just to give you an idea, the best grades, I don't think obsidian and glass are the best grades, which is kind of surprising to most people. I think that the best grades are heat-treated stone, okay? And then below that is naturally raw, high-grade flint. And then below that there's obsidian. So the top three are going to be, for me, in my opinion, heat-treated stone, as long as it's heat-treated properly, and it's the kind of stone that will heat-treat well. And then natural raw true flint. If you find true flint of high grade, it is one of the best stones you'll ever nap. Okay. And then obsidian and glass. Now the glass varies. Not all glass is the same. Bottle glass is up on near the top. The window pane glass and art glass and glass for stained glass windows is down near the bottom. Okay. And in the middle you have everything else. Some tempered glasses work really well, some don't. Like if you buy a tempered glass plate and you break it up into chunks, sometimes it breaks up in little square chunks. That's not good. If it breaks like a glass is supposed to break with long fractures, and it's tempered glass like a silver, like in a plate or a cup, it's very good. But bottle glass is designed to be the best type possible, obviously, so it won't break. So bottle glass is near the top. Near the bottom of the hardness and difficulty scale for napping is your quartzites, your rhyolites, and anything that has layers in it. Even though it might nap well like petrified wood, it'll have layers in it. You can heat treat it, it'll make it better, but it's still, sometimes they have layers that really will really put a damper on your day. Okay. And the stuff in the middle, like floor tile, is probably the middle of all the nappable materials, which makes it kind of cool, makes it kind of good, because then you can have a good base to work off of. So if you've got some, it's got to be porcelain floor tile. If you got a good quality porcelain floor tile, you're in the middle. So you know that half of the stone that nappers are using is better, and half of the stone is worse than that. Okay. But I think, I should get into it in more detail. But for now, let's see if I can find that website on the where to find rock. Let's see. Okay, if you go to projectilepoints.net, projectilepoints.net, there is, if you go to the home page, they have kind of right in the, if you look in the middle of the page, down below, it's the second line down, it says Materials of North America Identification Guide. Okay, that has been the best guide that I've seen on materials. I mean, it's got a huge list. And for instance, I'm just clicking on Northern Plains, okay? You have to click through a couple of screens, materials in North America, and then click on Northern Plains, and then you've got names in alphabetical order. First one on here is agate jasper, then agatized wood, algic chert, antelope chert, Argentine chert, Attica chert, Avon chert. I guess there's like 7 of them there. I've only heard of 2 of those. Agatized wood and agate jasper. All these other ones I've never heard of. Badlands, Chalcedony, Flint Hill chert, Florence chert. I mean, I've hardly ever heard of any of these, okay? So this site has created a database 10 times or 100 times better than I could do it. Okay, so that's what I would suggest you look at for to identify these cherts. And it has an actual map of the United States with a red area of where this chert is found, or jasper. Like I just clicked the first one, agate jasper. It looks like it's the northwest coast. You'll find it in the northwest coast and into the Great Basin. I guess I could show you my computer. It'll show you the area of the U.S. where that material is found. Okay. Now, you know, I was very concerned about that in the beginning too, and I would drive around and look for where it is, because you know, I thought obviously it'd be on the side of the road, but it wasn't. It never was. So that's just a heads up in case you want to look for it that way. I wouldn't recommend it. If you want to find out all this information, I recommend going to a NAPIN, as I've always done. But I thank Bob for that question, because it started to light a fire under my butt to get back into doing these kinds of videos, where they're informative videos on this channel. I told you I would upload regularly, but I've been so distracted I haven't done very much in a while. So I apologize for that. I hope to get back into doing this more regularly, and more videos will be coming soon, very soon, on my Jack Crafty channel, my main channel, and the Allergic Hobbit channel, not so much, but this channel and the Jack Crafty channel is what I'll be working on this weekend, and hopefully it'll go well. Okay.